Hey everybody, welcome to Too Much Information. We're with Moondog, that's me, where we go into some of the videos that I've posted this week and give you some background information on the products, as well as maybe a little too much information about the production of them, and answer any of your questions about those videos, as well as soliciting your help in creating the thumbnails for one of next week's videos. And as time permits, we'll delve deep, perhaps too deep, into some interesting things that, well, at least I found interesting while I was browsing the web and doing research. At least that's what I call it, research. But oftentimes it's into subjects that have nothing to do or end up having nothing to do with anything that I'm actually creating as far as videos. Maybe one of these days, but, we'll weave that into there. So just wanted to get a couple of things out of the way, or it's not a negative way, but wanted to reward some of you folks who are tuning in early, who are our early birds, by giving you the hashtag to type into the chat section. And let me get this on here. So for you early birds, type in hashtag OLIGHT, and that will get you into our live drawing today to win an OLIGHT, which is seeing here, an OLIGHT i3E, and that's their AAA keychain, or about keychain size EDC light. And you could put this on your keychain. You could put this drop it into your pocket. It's a really compact light. Outputs about 100 lumens. Super reliable. Very small. And it's a great backup light if you don't have a larger, brighter EDC. But they are letting me give one away today, so I want to thank OLIGHT for doing that. And we're also going to be showing you some of the new stuff that they've got on offer, as well as some of their giveaways that they're doing on their own website for Black Friday. But I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. So type in hashtag OLIGHT, and I'll do the drawing a little bit later, but I just want to give you early birds a little jump on the worm, so to speak. Okay. And I also wanted to give you early birds an early look at the other giveaway that I'm doing at the end of today's episode. I'll be giving away a patch set. And this was a limited edition patch set that they created for SHOT Show this year. EVIC, I should say, evic.com. They're an online tactical gear, airsoft, and fishing retail company, and they gave away a set of patches that were sort of South Park inspired of some of their key staff members in the marketing side. You've got a little character version of EVIC Matt, who is their main spokesperson, but also the other folks that they have on their marketing team. And I'm also giving away, it's a bit of a surprise, a $25 EVIC gift card to the winner at the end of tonight's live stream. All right. And I also wanted to give a shout out to this episode sponsor, Aura, which I've featured in almost all of my videos the last couple of months. So Aura is an online cybersecurity company that I use, and they provide a whole suite, a comprehensive suite of security services for you while you're browsing the web and for your online digital identity. Notably, they offer to all of their customers $1 million in identity theft insurance. And you've heard of people who've had their identities stolen online. It's unfortunately getting easier now that a lot of hackers have gotten into our information from huge databases. Like AT&T's database got hacked. One of the, I forget if it was Experian, one of the big three data credit monitoring companies where we get our credit score, they got hacked a few years ago. So over 1 million identities, people were compromised. So that's 1 in 3 people in the United States. So that's crazy how much information was hacked, taken off, and ended up on the dark web somewhere. So Aura provides you with up to $1 million in identity theft insurance, which also covers any legal fees that you might have in trying to sort things out if you ever happen to have the worst case scenario of somebody opening an account that wasn't yours, etc. Also, one of the great services that I use is you can get yourself removed from these data broker services that buy and sell our information. There are hundreds of them online, and it's a tedious process to go and register register with each of them to manually ask to have your identity or your information removed from these data brokers. But using Aura, you can just, with a click of a button, use their data broker removal service, and they will go and scour the web for your identity on these data broker companies and have them removed. I've had myself removed from over 30 data brokers, so I think that's totally worth it right there. And you get a chance to use this service and all of their other services actually for 14 days. That's a half a month for free if you use my link, aura.com/moondog. And I'll just bump that up, and I'll type this up into the chat section. So those of you who can, if you want, just use that link, and you'll get 14-day free trial. And please try them out, because I will probably, my partnership and sponsorship with Aura will probably be ending towards the end of this year. So make use of it now while you can. Use that 14 days, and you can use all of their services for free. So go for it, man. I would just totally do it now rather than waiting. So, all right. So I want to just take a quick, brief shout out to all of the folks who've joined in already. And I'm just going to start with from the top. We got Michael DeHart. Thanks for joining us, Michael. We have Ryan Matthew Pick on there, and we have my buddy Hillbilly, American Hillbilly, or Hillbilly Up, as you can find his channel. I'm often a guest on his live show every Saturday night. And who else we got over here? And and we have 67 Rebel. All right, well, thank you all for joining us already. Much appreciated. So let's get started. Let's go into some of the new videos that I posted this week. Okay, so actually this is not a video I posted, but it was a video that I was on. This is the Bench Rest Marksman's channel. And if you haven't seen his videos, very interesting individual. He was born without arms. So that is unusual right there, but even more unusual for a gentleman who has no arms, he just has hands. He is a bench rest shooter, and you just gotta, you have to see his channel. But he was kind enough to invite me to be a guest and interviewed me on his show, and his live show. So I'll include a link to that, and you can find a link to all of these things that we're discussing today on my website in my notes section. So I am going to let me write down, give you the link to that page. I thought I had it up on here, but I feel kind of foolish that I didn't download that link already. But you can find the link here, and I'm going to post it right up onto the chat. There we go. And all three channels that I'm broadcasting out, this is the first time I'm broadcasting to all three of my channels. You got Moondog 2A, Moondog Reviews, and Moondog Go. So I hope you're watching all of them, and I hope especially that you've subscribed to Moondog Go, which is my newest channel that have all of my travel content on. So check out that link, and you can find the links to all the things we're discussing, including this interview that I had with Bench Rest Marksman. And he's out of Australia, by the way. So that's also an interesting thing. In northeastern Australia, in Queensland, where the Great Barrier Reef is. So on my Moondog Reviews channel, where I review gadgets and things, I posted up a review of this cool little device. This is their ArcFlex EDC light, and this is their only light that I know of that has a bending emitter at the very end. The very end turns 90 degrees so that you can clip it on and use it as a clip-on hands-free light. Now, if you notice here, and you'll notice in the video if you've seen it, the product that I have in most of the video had this cool skeleton graphic on it, because they actually sent me the Halloween limited edition of it. Unfortunately, at the very end, after I completed the entire video, including the conclusion section, it failed to turn off. It wouldn't turn off. Actually, at first it wouldn't turn on. I was wondering what was going on. So I recharged it and fully recharged it until the little recharging hockey puck turned green. and then it still wouldn't turn on. And then I was like, what's going on? So I went online and to their website, to Olight's website, and just went into the warranty section and filled out the information. And while doing that, it suddenly turned back on. I thought, okay, it's working, but then it wouldn't turn itself off. I couldn't change the settings or anything. It ended up being defective. But the silver lining in all of this is I got a chance to test out their warranty and return service, which is exemplary, because all I did was go to their website, put in the serial number for the product, which is actually hidden here. I turn this, and let me just say, there we go, the focus here. So there is a QR code and a serial number in the little emitter, and you turn it down and you can find it. I entered the serial number, and they emailed me a return label. And while I was actually packing it up a day or two later, I got a notice that they were sending me a replacement already. So I dropped it in the mail, and that was it. That was super, super fast, super easy to get a replacement. And this is the replacement. And yes, this one does work. So there you go. So good on you, Olight. Thanks for being a reliable and legit company in fixing any issues that they have. All right, so that's a little background information that you wouldn't have gotten just from watching the video. So on my Moondog Go channel, I posted up a video that is of the drive over the Bay Bridge. And that is the bridge that connects the East Bay, Oakland, really, essentially, Oakland and Emeryville, over to downtown San Francisco proper. And I did a real-time video this time instead of the time lapse. Well, you know what? It ended up being over a 10-minute video to drive across. And part of that is because I did hit some traffic about 2/3 of the way through. I mean, it was a little bit slow. I mean, it's actually a 50 mile per hour speed limit on the bridge, though, on most days people won't heal to that. But we hit a bit of traffic towards the very end, so it did slow down the trip. But it is not a short bridge. It's actually 2 bridges. In fact, I'll show you here. Let's zoom into that. Now you can see a picture of both parts of the Bay Bridge here. The bridge part in the foreground there goes from Oakland over to Yerba Buena Island / Treasure Island. And then the second half of the bridge, which is a totally different design, continues from the island all the way over to downtown proper. And I'll get you some of the facts here. The total length, and that includes the ramp up approaches to the actual bridge structure itself on both sides, is 8.4 miles. And so that's split between both of those bridges. But in total, that is 4 times longer than the Golden Gate Bridge. And the Bay Bridge actually handles over twice as much traffic, which is not all that surprising, since the cities that are on the East Bay are much more populous than Marin and the areas north of San Francisco. In fact, a lot of people commute from even further east into the interior of California to San Francisco. But most people, if they think of San Francisco, they think of the Golden Gate Bridge. They don't really think about the Bay Bridge, though some people I know have actually accidentally thought they were on the Golden Gate Bridge, and then they wonder why it doesn't look like it does in the photos, because they're actually on the Bay Bridge. And the latter half, or the half that's between Yerba Buena Island, it's closer to San Francisco, it's sort of a traditional modern suspension bridge, which looks kind of like the Golden Gate Bridge in terms of the architecture, kind of like the Verrazano Bridge in New York City. But it's painted gray, so that they wonder, like, why is it not red or orange like they saw in the postcards, because they're on the Bay Bridge. And also, I put down the other information I got, like the vertical clearance below the bridge itself is 220 feet. So they designed it so it can accommodate battleships and aircraft carriers, at least at the time when they built this, which was back in 1936. And the newer part of the bridge, which we're seeing on the lower part of the photo there, that was completed in 2013. And the reason they had to rebuild that part of the bridge is because of this. For those of you who might have remembered, there was a big earthquake here in San Francisco in '89, the Loma Prieta earthquake, and a section of the bridge, actually, of the old bridge, actually fell down, and there were some fatalities. So this was definitely a serious damage to that bridge, and the structural engineers knew that they did fix it, and it was the bridge after the repairs was running for, let's see, from 90 to about 20. Well, it was running till 2013. So you're looking at 23 years. It was still functioning, because when they built the new bridge, they built it parallel to the old bridge. And you can see in this photo here, the old bridge is on the right. So it was a truss span bridge, and the new bridge they built while the Bay Bridge was still had cars running on it every day, because there's so much traffic that they didn't want to close down the bridge. So they opened it. There was like one day, 1.5 days where there wasn't any traffic, but then they completed the whole bridge, and then once the new bridge was functioning, they tore down the old bridge. So that bridge on the right there, you won't see it. You'll only have the I don't know what they're called to the bottoms, the pilings in the bay that originally had the bridge tower structures. And we have Bentress Marksman. Hey, how are you? That, as I was mentioning, I was on his show earlier. He's joining us. G'day, mate. Thanks for joining us. So the other video that I had up, and this one's for my Moondog 2A channel, is a review of the new Arkin EP5. And this is the new 7-35 model. So it's their highest magnification EP5. And this is the headline that ended up that we ended up with: more power or more problems. And I did have two other headlines, as you can see here, and I want to thank everybody who submitted suggestions. But as you can see here, that headline ended up being the winner in YouTube's thumbnail contest that they allow us to upload and find out more about. Find out which one most people will click through, because everybody gets randomly presented a thumbnail of these three in their suggestions, and whichever thumbnail gets clicked on more to watch the video is what YouTube will run with. So that's where we're at. So the other ones were looking strong and is more better, and we ended up with more power or more problems. So, which leads us into the request I have this week is, let me know what your thoughts are on a thumbnail headline for this new product, which is let me see if I have one here. Yep, I do. This is the new Right-On 3-power magnifier, flip out magnifier. And just show you here. It's a really small, look at how small this thing is. It's a really tiny, it's almost as small as like those micro prism sights that Primary Arms puts out. This is a very, very compact 3-power magnifier. What I like about it most is that it has a really large, lens, ocular lens, relative to the size of the tube, which is very thin. So that effectively, when you're looking at this, you almost see none of this around it, just seeing the image. So it's a really nice, magnifier. And it's a side flip magnifier, by the way, too. So yeah. So any thoughts? I'm looking for any thoughts or suggestions you might have as to what would be a good headline for this. So I just took out the headline that I had on there. So it's a side flip magnifier, very compact, relatively lightweight, it's under 8 ounces. So while looking for some suggestions to folks, if you have any suggestions, type them into the chat. But this is also a good opportunity to call out some of the folks who've joined us since earlier. So let me just scroll up here who we have that joined us since we have Mayhem Miller. Thanks for joining us. We've got Cutout. We've got DJ Play Nice, the most amazing voice in YouTube. And we have CR. We have Garage Guy. Thanks for joining us. And of course, we have Bentress Marksman. All right. Here we have a suggestion from Ryan. Right on target again. That's good. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. So yeah, let me know if you have any thoughts. You can of course type them at any time in the chat section. And Ryan adds to this. I have quite a few ride-ons. Love my Conquer 5 for the money. Now, for those of you who don't know or haven't had a chance to try out any of ride-ons scopes or optics, the glass is amazingly clear, sharp, bright across all of their product line. And the design is actually very nice as well. The only thing I would have to say, I've found most of their scopes to be, their eye boxes are a tad tight, but in terms of the feature set, the design, just top notch. One of the tops out there. And it always boggles me why more people don't know about them. They know about Vortex, they know about Loophole. And some folks know the more budget brands like that I also feature in a lot of my reviews, like Monstrum, CV Life, and some of the mid-tier brands like Athlon. But for whatever reason, a lot of people don't know about Ride-On, and they've been around for quite some time. They're an Arizona-based company founded by law enforcement and also former military, and or I should say military veteran and law enforcement. So really legit company, good folks out there, make great products. So I'm kind of shocked that more people don't know about their products. And we have Yukon joining us. Thanks for going on there. All right. So if you have any more thoughts as to a good headline for the 3x magnifier, feel free to add that on to the side chat, or later on, if you are watching this later and aren't live, you can always post it into the comment section. So I'll be working on this video and hopefully have this up by next week. All right. Oh, I see Abigail has also joined us. Hey, Abigail, by the way, you did win the admin pouch last week, but I never got an email from you. Or if you did send it to me, I don't know. I didn't get it. So please send me an email with your mail to or the shipping information for you, and I'll send that right out. And I will type in my email address to send it to in the chat right here. It's moondogairsoft@gmail.com. And if you wouldn't mind, Abigail, shoot me a quick email and get me that info, and I will get you that pouch before the holidays. Well, technically holidays start tomorrow. So, as soon as I can in any case. All right. So for those of you, I'm giving away, for those of you who joined us after the last announcement, the hashtag to put into the chat section is OLIGHT, because I'll be giving away a i3E micro or mini EDC, AAA EDC, and we're going to be doing the drawing right now. So get those hashtags in, hashtag OLIGHT, and we'll do the drawing in a second. All right, and let me just bring up. I'll give you guys just a few more seconds to get that OLIGHT hashtag in. And I want to give you also let you know that there is going to be a second giveaway today, where I'm going to be giving away I'm going to be giving away these limited edition patches from eVic, along with a $25 eVic gift card. But I'll give you the hashtag for that as soon as we do the drawing for the OLIGHT. So I want to thank OLIGHT again for letting me give that away. All right, so we're going to do the drawing right now. And Ventress Marksman, congratulations. I'm gonna have to get some extra postage for this one, but yeah, congratulations. All right, good on ya. And I will be letting Olight know, actually, that to send one out over to you. And I also want to let everybody know, and let me set this up properly, that you have a chance to win my second drawing today. If you put in hashtag EVIK, or EVIK, EVIKE, though it's pronounced EVIK, that is the hashtag. And let me just bring up that screen here so you can see. There we go. So the next contest, or I'm giving away at the end of today's live stream, it will be for the patches and a $25 gift card from EVIK. And all you have to do is type in hashtag EVIK, or EVIKE, into the chat right now, and you'll be eligible to win. All right, so let's get into our word of the week, and that is tetrahedron. Yes, so a tetrahedron is, well, it's the name of the polygon that is essentially a pyramid. And this one comes from the fact that, well, it is fall here in North America. And for most of us, that means cooler, much cooler weather. And this is the time of year where I start drinking tea, hot tea. And usually the rest of the year I'm drinking iced tea. But now I've switched over to hot tea. Like in this case. And the reason I bring this up, tetrahedrons, is because I was looking up my favorite tea, which is, I should point out what a tetrahedron is. There you see it on the left. These are part of the representative here are the Platonic solids, which relate to Plato, the Greek philosopher who wrote about them. In that, I believe it was Euclid who, well, it was in the period at the time. They thought all the things in the world were comprised of four elements: earth, air, fire, and water, and that Plato described the four elements and associated them with these geometric shapes, and a tetrahedron was one of them. I believe that was the shape for fire. Could be wrong about that, so don't quote me on that one, but he associated each of the elements with a different shape. And well, that shape happens to be the shape of my favorite tea bags. And this is actually a competitor, but they use a similar shaped tea bag. I got one right here. If you could see, this is my favorite tea, which is PG Tips. I don't know, what's your favorite tea out there? Do you have a favorite tea? And to be honest, I didn't grow up as a tea drinker. And when I did drink tea at home, which is fairly rarely, it was just good old Lipton, just Lipton tea. And up until I was in my 20s, I just drank tea with just straight tea and hot tea and sugar. That's all I ever drank it, unless it was iced tea. And this relates back to Ventress Marksman and our conversation in the video that we had about going to Australia and the Great Barrier Reef. Well, that's where I started drinking tea English style with milk, because I was on board the dive ship. And I don't know if you know this, but when you do repetitive dives, and I was doing at least 3 dives a day, because hey, I was in the Barrier Reef, I got to take the opportunity, and it's not like I'm going to be diving there very often. It's one of the once in a lifetime opportunity. So I would, every time they would be announcing a dive, I would go hit into the water. But you lose a lot of body heat being in the water all the time. So between dives, I'd be up there kind of, even though it was warm. This is Australia in the springtime. So and Queensland is pretty close to the equator, so it was relatively warm, but I would get kind of chilled, and I'd go over to the mess hall on board the dive ship, and to be honest, their coffee sucked. They had powdered instant coffee, but after a while, I think they ran out one day, and I was just really cold, so I just had some tea, and I started drinking it English style with milk, and I grew accustomed to it. So whenever it gets cold, I bust out the tea bags and steep and drink a nice cuppa, as they say in England. But this leads me down the rabbit hole, because I thought I was starting to look up the name of this stuff, because actually the shape of this particular tea bag is not actually quite a pyramid, really, but it is kind of it's a three-sided pyramid at the bottom, but it's kind of a weird shape, and I was trying to find who invented this. Still haven't found out who invented this, but PG Tips was one of the first tea companies to come out with this as their standard tea bag. And I went down the rabbit hole looking up PG Tips, which, if you haven't tried it, by the way, I gotta say, this stuff is the bomb. I was introduced to this brand by an English friend of mine, Graham, because this is the brand that he liked, and you can find it on Amazon. I've included a link to that in the video, my video notes. So you can get it here in the U.S. I don't know if it's got to be imported or whatever, but it's not really expensive. It's not like a really, hoity-toity organic artisanal tea. This is one of the more mass market brands over in England. But something about it is much more flavorful and intense than like Lipton. But it's actually owned by Lipton too. So this is just their PG Tips. And I found out when I was doing the research is that this is PG stands for pre-digestive, or at least pregestive is what what it stood for. And they were originally marketed as a tea that you would drink before a meal to help you digest, but apparently they passed advertising laws later on that said that they couldn't make those claims because they really didn't have any scientific basis to make that claim. So they just changed it to just PG Tips. So anyway, that's the reason why it's out there. But what I found interesting was I was looking up PG. This would come up, and this is where I got the thumbnail for today's episode. They had this sock puppet monkey as their spokesperson for at least the last 20 years. They recently changed their advertising, by the way, and got rid of the sock puppet monkey, and it's caused a bit of a kerfuffle in England because people liked the sock puppet monkey, but they replaced it with this video here, and I'll add this, show you what this is.
It's good, bro. Something bothering you? Can't lie, it's this new job. What if I'm not good enough? Cup of PG?
So this is their new commercial they just launched in a big ad campaign in England. And this, if you don't know who this person is, don't feel bad, because neither did I. Apparently he's a rapper, an English rapper, that would be equivalent to I don't know how big he is. I'm assuming he is because they've included him in these commercials, but he never really crossed over and made a big splash here in the US. So he's a well-known rapper in England, and they made this ad campaign with he's just one guy, and so they've duplicated him in this video. It's basically like he's talking to himself. And that's the whole concept, is he's just sort of having a conversation with himself. And people were a little bit up in arms, or at least some people were, about this new ad campaign, only because they replaced it. This replaced the long-standing monkey ad campaign. And here's one of the commercials from that ad campaign.
The problem with a skinny organic mocha macchiato with extra hot soy yak's foam yoga mat infused cappuccino is it's just not tea.
So that is part of a long series, and actually the ad campaign that featured him also featured a human, and they're sort of like they were buddies, and they would have tea together, and also interact with other people, which is kind of a lot more interesting than just having a rap star. To me, I don't have any issue with having a rap star. It's just that I just found that commercial with him in it talking to himself to be far less interesting than the sock puppet. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section if you either are interested or have exposure to that or not. But apparently this whole monkey thing is a really older campaign, because it harkens back to the 60s, where they had this long running campaign using real monkeys, chimpanzees.
Jeff! I've just been round to see our new neighbours. Very nice, but lime green sofa and mauve carpet. And when they offered me a cup of tea, it wasn't PG tips.
What? No PG? God, have they no taste?
You can really taste the difference in a cup of PG.
So-
Tender tips make tasty tea.
A golden cup
This
of
is
PG.
the ad
That's what
campaign
I
that was
call
running
good
for like
taste.
20 plus
Social.
years.
What was their hair-
So this is like 20 plus years in England using these chimpanzees. But I think I heard that they had to stop it because of protests from PETA because they were using chimpanzees, which is just, again, like pretty woke, I guess. I don't know. It seems kind of silly to me that they would be up in arms about having real chimpanzees in commercials, and that was apparently some issue. But anyway, so they transitioned into the sock puppet chimpanzees so as to not offend the animal rights folks for using real chimpanzees. So they continued that. So at least it had some connection. I will not imply any sort of connection between monkeys and a rapper, but in any case, so that's what. That's why the reason I got into. I used the PG Tips monkey in this today's thumbnail, because that's what I've been started to drink again, because it's gotten chilly here in San Francisco, and I do drink coffee. But in the morning, and I just don't drink it like to keep warm during the day. What do you guys drink when it gets cold? Do you usually drink coffee, hot chocolate, tea, or what? Because I can't drink coffee all day anymore like I did when I was in college, when you pull all-nighters and party all the time. It just makes me a little too jittery, and I don't know, I feel like tea's a lot better for me in the long run. But hey, we got some more new folks who joined us. Let me just scroll up. I see Vallejo. Hey, Walter. And we got Pat in the bunker. Hey, Pat. Vallejo says coffee in the morning, herbal teas in the evening. I could just drink tea just constantly. And in the summers, I'll make myself sun tea, 2 batches of it, so that I have constantly a full pitcher of nice iced tea, hot, Southern style, as sweet as I can take it, and as strong as I can take it. And I'll drink that all day. I can drink tea like all day. And Michael Hart says, Black Rifle Roast Dark, good stuff, with water only. I'm on the keto diet as well. Mike, I just end up using the artificial sweetener. I use sucralose drops. I just can't. My wife has weaned herself, because she's diabetic. She's weaned herself off from sweeteners at all with coffee. And God bless her. I wish I had that wherewithal to go cold turkey, but I like to have my tea sweet. Hellbilly says, in the hot summer, I drink beer. Yes, that's true. In the cold winter, I drink beer. Okay, fair enough. And Viejo says, I use stevia. I was trying stevia, but there's some research that a lot of the like stevia and monk fruit still elicit an adverse reaction in terms of blood glucose levels. Not as bad as straight on sugar, and certainly not as bad as fructose. But anyway, that's the reason why I don't use stevia, or we don't use stevia at the house. All right. Getting back to the monkeys. One of the things I also, as I was online looking up teas, I was wondering, okay, do I steep my tea long enough? I usually will steep it until it gets nice and dark looking, and I don't really think much past that. And other question to you folks out there: when you steep your tea, my grandmother would do this. She would take the tea out, and then she would squeeze the tea bag out into the cup. Now, I was looking at videos on how to make tea online. They actually warn folks not to do that, because when you squeeze the bag, you're actually squeezing out a lot more of the tannins that would have stayed in the leaves, and that makes your tea a lot more bitter than it needs to be, instead of mellow. So I stopped doing that when I learned about how at least the standard British way of brewing tea. The other thing that apparently is a big deal is whether or not you put your milk before you pour your tea or hot water, or afterwards. And apparently there's a long-standing tradition in England that they pour the milk in first. And it's kind of like fighting words whether you prefer one over the other in England. But apparently that whole tradition or technique started because a lot of folks couldn't afford the really fancy china, so they would buy cheaper grades or thinner china. And if you poured the hot water in directly, you're more likely to crack that china. So that's the reason why they started pouring the milk in first, so to sort of buffer the temperature change. But apparently, and this is if I have a link to this too, if you watch the food theorist, and he has the food theory and game theory and style theory. It's a great series from MatPat, one of the big YouTubers out there. But they did a taste test to see, is it better with among themselves and one of their English friends, as to which is better, if there's a taste difference between putting the milk in first or afterwards. And apparently there is. Now, I haven't done a taste test myself to confirm this, but I've always put in my milk afterwards, just so I could get a good gauge as to how dark the tea is. Because if I put in the milk first, and I have in the past accidentally or for whatever reason put in the milk first, when I steep the tea in the milk, it's hard to really see, or at least maybe I'm just not used to seeing how dark, but it never seems to be as dark enough for me when I do it that way. So I've never done it that way. So there we go, Bentress Marksman. And of course he's Australian, not a Brit, but most Australians can trace their lineage back to the British Isles. Says milk first. So I'm going to ask Bentress, is that something that you grew up with? And does the rest of your family do that as well? But apparently there is a definite taste difference between putting the milk in first or later. Who knew? I didn't know. But here's an interesting thing. As we're talking about England and traditions, and a lot of the tea making and tea drinking traditions that I'm basing how I brew my own tea are English based. And we know from American history that the Boston Tea Party, tea has been part of American history since the beginning, right? So because we started off as an English colony as well. But I got a question to ask all of you out there, and I want you to type it into the chat. Who do you think drinks the most tea per capita in the world? Do you think it's the English? Do you think it's the Chinese? And the tea all originally came from India. So actually, and most of the best, or they consider to be the highest quality tea, come from Ceylon, which is now Madagascar. Not Madagascar, sorry. Sri Lanka. What did I say? Madagascar. Sri Lanka. So back in the day, it was named Ceylon. What was that? Is it the Portuguese who named it that? But in any case, type in who you think drinks the most tea per capita. Yeah, Bubba, India, and Michael DeHart. You can't just say countries. You got to name a specific country. We got Pat the Bunker says India. So Abigail says she thinks actually it's the South, though technically in this question that I'm phrasing here, you'd have to include the North or the rest of the country and not just the South. Well, Bubba's he's hedging his bets now, maybe saying maybe Nepal. Michael DeHart says Japan. And Ben Shress Marksman says he bets India as well. Viejo thinks it's probably Japan. Oh, interesting thing I found out in my research about teas. Did you know, and I didn't know this, the majority of the tea drunk in the United States after the Revolution and up until the 20th century was actually mostly green tea from Japan. When Commodore Perry opened up the trade route with his warships and sailed into Tokyo Bay. Well, the biggest thing that we would import from Japan was green tea, and most of the tea, including when we first started brewing iced tea, when refrigeration and ice became easily and not super expensive in the United States, was actually green tea, Japanese green tea. And that stopped in the early part of the 20th century with something that we know as World War II. For obvious reasons, we stopped drinking Japanese tea. So, yeah. So ever since then, tea is sort of we've switched over to Chinese and Indian and Indonesian black teas. All right, so without further ado, I will let you know who actually, at least as far as my research, who drank the most tea, and I will do so by showing you this video here.
Which people would you say drink more tea than anyone else? The British with their afternoon tea? The Turks with their chai? The Japanese at their tea ceremonies? None of them. The undisputed top tea drinkers are in Germany, with an average of 300 liters per head per year. The East Frisians.
And do you even know what a Frisian is?
Mysterious East Frisians? And how did they become such avid tea drinkers? How did they even acquire their leaves? And what does it have to do with the history of colonialism? This video aspires to provide answers.
So, do you even know what Frisians are?
This windblown northwesternmost corner of Germany, East Frisia, is home to a small but stalwart population who have learned to live with the harsh weather. East Frisians are known for their even-headedness, dry humor, and the teapots they use to pour endless cups of their magic potion all day long.
So listen to this guy speaking in German.
Gibt's morgens, wenn man aufsteht, und 9 Uhr auch einen Tee.
11 Uhr.
And contrast his accent with this woman's accent.
Da gab es dann Tee und einen kurzen. So kenne ich das von zu Hause.
Nachmittags 2 Uhr auch einen Tee, oder 2 zu 3 Uhr einen Tee, und abends auch noch mal.
So, that's something also interesting. Maybe you don't hear a difference. I studied German in high school. A whole nother story, but I can hear a difference in how they're speaking the gentleman there definitely sounds like he's speaking with a West Country English accent in German. In my previous video where we talked about the pirate accent, you know, arg, yeah, talking like this, matey. He sounds like that in German, which may not actually be that surprising because here, check this out. Let me just bring up the size of that graphic. So Frisia or Frisians, the land of the peoples who are the Frisians, encompasses an area that is part of it is in the north Netherlands and would eventually become the Dutch. That's West Frisia. The East Frisians, which ironically is in the northwest corner of Germany, and then the North Frisians, which ended up in the area that would be the border of Germany and Denmark. Well, they were among the Germanic tribes that invaded England and most of them were Angles and Saxons, which is why you think of English as Anglo-Saxons. But they invaded the eastern part of Great Britain after the Romans, after the fall of the Roman Empire, and so a lot of their language. If you look it up linguistically, English is a Germanic language because of all of the influx of these northern Germanic peoples, among them the Frisians. So I'm sure the Frisian dialect is somewhat close to Saxon dialect because they're right neighbors to each other. And I'm sure a lot of Frisians also joined the other German Vikings who invaded England. And that's one of the reasons why the accents sound similar. At least that's my theory anyway. Maybe. I don't know. But it's kind of funny for me to hear what is essentially a Western English accent spoken in German. Oh, and here's just a picture of all the different parts of Friesland. And of course, the other favorite tea that we all drink here is iced tea. And if we had enough time, maybe I would transition to talking about what the biggest tea actually is, aside from iced tea in the United States, which has now become boba tea is the big thing. But let's leave that for some other show. If you're interested, I'll leave a comment and I will get into boba. But while we still have a bit of time, I want to get into, we still have some time left. I want to get into some of the pre-Black Friday sales that are coming up because, heck, tomorrow's Thanksgiving and we have a lot to be thankful for, hopefully, all of us, for our families and our loved ones. But also, we all know that we can't escape it. I've been hit up marketing-wise with pre-Black Friday sales for like last 2 weeks. It feels like 3 weeks. It's crazy. I've never seen pre-Black Friday sales as early as this year. So I don't know, is that just me or anybody else out there feeling the same way? So one of the Black Friday sales that's out there is for Discovery Optics, and their code Black Friday is actually a better discount than you would get if you used my Moondog 15 code. So definitely use the Black Friday sale, and it goes across the board on all of their products, which includes the new LHD scope, the 8 to 32, which I reviewed just recently, and that's a great scope, by the way. So to use that, and you can find all these codes in the link on my website, and I'll post the link up again for the page. Where do I'm trying to find that link again. Oh, there we are. I will post this up in the chat so you can find all the links to all these codes that I'm mentioning here. So Also, the other big scope company that I just was surprised at how big their pre-Black Friday sales are is Arkin. Now, Arkin is launching their new firearms brand, which is called Outlier, and they're making precision rifles and rifle parts. But just if you can see here, just how crazy cheap you can get a precision barrel, tight barrel, for $69. You can get a chassis for $69, or at least the upper receiver of the chassis. So you can just put in a standard AR mil spec tube for the back and put in your own stock, and then you can attach a barrel and all the internals. They have it for a number of different actions, not just the Remington 700, but they've gotten a number of different variations on the Savage, and a couple of other brands, a couple of other makes. They don't have CZ, but I do think they have Hoya and Tikka as well. So if you are looking to get a precision chassis for your rifle, yeah, that's crazy cheap. Also, the crazy cheap is the prices that they have right now for their scopes. They've just dropped them, like the new 7-35, which I just reviewed, which is a great scope, by the way. That's going now for $559. That's like the price of the 5-25, and the 5-25 they've dropped the price. And from what I heard from my buddy Cyclops Joe, this is the lowest it's going to be this whole year, and after Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales, it's going back up to the regular price. So this is your best price you're going to have this year. And I'm not getting anything out of this, so folks, but if you are going to be buying stuff from Arkin, use my buddy Cyclops Joe's code Cyclops, just so he gets a little something. Appreciate all the information that he puts out there, and he's a good dude. So use his code Cyclops, and when you purchase anything off of Arkin. Oh, and Ryan says, I think you get a little bit extra. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. I think you can get a little bit extra off his code. Yeah, I think so too, but I couldn't remember exactly how much of a discount you get with Cyclops. I don't want to say and give you the wrong number. And let's see. Oh, and so that brings us to Olight, and Olight's got a ton of promotions going on, and different ones practically every day, where you can post up things like you can post up photos and just put a hashtag and you're automatically entered into the drawing. Well, one of the things that they are giving away special during this Black Friday sale is the special holiday package, which, as you can see here on the bottom right. So for sure, a lot of the products on their website right now are up to 50% off. So that's a deal across the board on a lot of their on products that they have on the website. But you can also, for a limited time, you have this holiday pack that they're promoting, which includes a Arkfeld Pro, a special holiday edition of that. And this is one of them, by the way. This is, let me bring up my screen. There we go. So this is the holiday edition. You can see that it's got the holiday graphics on there, the snowflake graphics. And it also includes an O clip, and this one has the special holiday graphics on it as well. And we have the O Sphere, which is this kind of mood lighting thing. It's a desk lamp, or you can place it, and it's magnetic, so you can place it on the wall and it'll stick there as well. And you can control it using a phone app, so you can change the color, and it's got different modes. So the only thing it doesn't have is, and I think they should have thought about this, is they should have made and this is magnetic, by the way, so they could have made a little magnetic piece that had a little loop so that you could put this onto your tree. There's a suggestion, Olight, make this like a cool tree light, but it's got a bunch of different lighting modes and you can just cycle through different colors. And I'll just put this back there and make this show a little bit more like every other streamer out there with the LED lights in the background. But here's the thing: you can buy this package. It's like practically almost like 50% off buying them individually. But here's the cheap aspect of it to me is that you could buy this whole package and then you could part out all the bits of it to give away as individual gifts. So there's another way you could save some money as well, is that you don't have to necessarily give the whole package to somebody because you get them separately inside of the shipping box. So that's just a thought. But definitely go to Olight and you can take advantage of this. Plus, oh yeah, they've got some additional gifts that I saw there. One is if you are a new customer. So here's the one on the top right. If you're a new customer, you'll get an i3E, which is the little light that we gave away earlier today. Or if you sign up for their sort of like frequent buyer program, and it's free. If you accumulate enough points, you can get an O strip, which is their LED strip light, included with any purchase. Or if you've bought a bunch of stuff, you could get one of their pens. So, like I said, they're giving away tons of stuff on their website. So yeah, make use of it right now. So yeah, it doesn't really cost anything. So go for it. Which brings us to our current contest that we have, as I'm going to wrap up today's episode. As many of you know, there is I'm giving away a vest. This is the Fiachi tactical vest. And this is a cool tactical vest plate carrier. So you have to put in your own ceramic or steel ballistic plates in here, but it's really well designed. Comes with a ton of pouches for mags, both full Stenag M4 style magazines, but also 2 pistol mags. But the cool thing is that it has this quick release control here. You can't see it because I just don't have enough room here, but the deal that is, if you squeeze the center, all the buckles will quick release, will release immediately. So this is great if you are, say, find yourself in a vehicle that went off the road into a river, or you need to just take it off quickly, whether or not you might have gotten chemicals or a flammable liquids on yourself. You need to get that off quickly. You don't have to be messing around with buckles or Velcro and fighting with it. You just squeeze the center and boom, pops all of the magnetic buckles on the shoulder and on the cummerbund just come loose. And once you snap them together magnetically, they just stay on. So you can get a chance to win this direct from Fiachi if you enter the contest. And I've got the link there, and I'm going to type in the direct link as well. And this contest is going to run until Monday. It's the last time you can get your entry in. Plus, I've gotten a bunch of different ways. You could also get a free entry by subscribing to all of these channels. Hopefully, you'll see here. These are all channels of folks that have appeared on American Hillbillies, Guns, Beer, and Therapy live stream. And if you subscribe to their channels and send me a screenshot of your subscribe button and their page, I'll give you a free entry. And of course, you can get a free entry by simply subscribing to my Moondog Go channel. And if you subscribe to Moondog Go and send me a screenshot of that, you'll also be entered into the contest. And again, just go to moondogindustries.com/November-2024 contest, and I'll post the link of that again here on the chat. And it has instructions on how to enter that contest there. So that contest runs until the end of this month. And the other contest that is going to start, actually started already, and I'll be pulling the winner on that on Christmas, is for the CV Life Eagle Talon LPVO, which you see a picture of it right here. This is a 1:6 budget LPVO, but this is probably one of the best budget LPVOs out there in terms of how clear the image is through it, as well as the reticle, which I really like. So it's a great LPVO, and you get a chance to win it from CV Life. Oh, and we got Will joining us late, but I'm glad you're here. Will, get in your hashtag for the contest, the hashtag EVIK, EVIKE. And I will post up a link to this, to the CV Life contest as well. And of course, you can always find all the information on any of the contests that are running on my website at moondogindustries.com/contests. Oh, and we have Fook YouTube, or Fuku YT, joining us. So thanks for joining us. As I was mentioning, you can find out about any of the contests that are running on my website at moondogindustries.com/contest. So that right now has information on both the Feiachi and the CV Life contests that are running right now. Okay, and finally, we'll get to the final drawing today. For those of you who just joined us, the hashtag is EVIC, and I can't forget to mention that there are also, just like everybody else, have a Black Friday sale going on where major brands with up to 20% off, like 511, all of their 511 products that are available on their website are 20% off using their Black Friday. So go check them out. And the winner of this final contest will get, see if I can get this thing to focus. There we go. We got our limited edition EVIC team patches here. They're South Park style characters of themselves. And you also get a $25 EVIC gift card. So get your hashtags in for hashtag EVIC, and we'll be drawing in a second. Oh, I forgot to ask everybody out there, what Black Friday sales have you found that you think are amazing? Because I wanted to share a lot more of them, but I'm just trying not to run afoul of YouTube because they have these restrictions against promoting gun manufacturers or putting links to places where you can buy firearms, or now they've even expanded to firearms products. So I'm kind of, edging that because scopes could be, used for bird watching and not just firearms. So, and, Olight makes flashlights. So yeah, I'm trying to hedge my bets here and not, that's why I didn't focus on everybody out there. So, Abigail says PSA has a Sig Romeo for 99 bottle caps. Sig Romeo 7. That's a good deal. And Blackhound. Now, that's a funny thing. Right On. I forgot who owns whom, but Right On, I think, owns Blackhound. So, Right On is their premium brand, and I don't know exactly where the cutoff is, because Blackhound isn't necessarily a budget brand, and the price difference between a Right On and a Blackhound really isn't that big of a difference. I think it just has to do with market. I don't know if Blackhound is more of the hunting, appeals to a more hunting style market, and Right On is a more tactical market. I don't know. Actually, I should ask the folks over at the Right On booth at SHOT Show this year, where they see the brand delineation. Element Optics. Didn't I hear that Element was closing down? Maybe that was a rumor. I heard that earlier this year, so I'm surprised that they're having a sale. So good on them. They're still around because they make some great scopes. I gotta definitely stop by their booth at SHOT Show the year. So Fuku YT says Rural King has a G-Force semi-auto shotguns. Oh, that's a good deal. Will Trax says, I actually found most of my Black Friday deals on Amazon and Ariat. Don't know Ariat, but I'll gotta look that up. Yeah, Amazon for sure has got a ton of deals. I think my wife we just bought a new mattress with a Black Friday sale. So I think she got it on Amazon. So yeah, for sure. Boots is a question from Matthew Pick. I think, 511 makes boots. They actually released a couple of new shoes. I saw a press release on that. So, yeah, make use of the 511 deals, especially on EVIC, and you can get some really nice boots for a good price. Oh, Abigail warns that G4 shotguns suck. Avoid at all costs. I hope that that isn't based on personal bad experiences, or maybe it is. I don't know. Oh wait, it is. I had a G-Force 870 knockoff, and it would feed. It wouldn't feed reliably. That's terrible. Okay, well, good. Thank you for letting us know there, Abigail. You know, I was thinking about having an additional show to just go through some Black Friday sales on Black Friday, but the feedback that I got from my YouTube channel was that people were just too busy, and I totally understand that. I'm sure a lot of you guys are either traveling on your way home, or maybe having going to Black Friday sales yourself in real person, like over in real brick and mortar stores. So most of the folks said that no thanks, totally, and thank you, because that would have meant that I would have had to sit down and make sure that I was here for a specific live stream for that. But all right, that's the reason why I kind of wanted to get a little bit of that Black Friday vibe thing and information exchange going on today. All right, so let's get back to the giveaway and we'll wrap up the show. How's that? All right, so we're going to do our drawing for the EVIC contest. So get in your hashtags, #EVIC, and I will bring up the screen for that. Okay, last call. All right, we're going to be doing the drawing for the gift card, and the winner Mayhem. Congratulations. All right. So Mayhem, send me your contact information or your mail to information. Oh, wait, I got an error on there. So send it to moondogairsoft@gmail.com. And, oh, wait, I'm out of focus. I wonder why it's not focusing. It's maybe it's because it's getting a little bit darker in here. But yeah, it's getting a little dark in here, so my camera's having a harder time to focus. But anyway, so I want to thank everybody for joining me on the live stream today, and I hope all of you have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. Hope it's not stressful. I hope that you have a wonderful meal with your family. I'm actually going to have crab for Thanksgiving. My wife and I decided we didn't want to cook, so we're taking my mother-in-law and the family out to Fisherman's Wharf to have a Dungeness crab feast for Thanksgiving. And actually, it's actually much more traditional than you would think, because when in our trip and our visits to Plymouth Plantation in Massachusetts, where they have a reenactment, they have a historical village of the original Plymouth colony. The original Thanksgiving, most of the food was seafood, because they are right on the coast, and that's where they got most of their food. The Native Americans came with deer, and I'm presuming pheasant as well, to supplement the fish that some of the livestock that the Pilgrims had. But the first Thanksgivings were mostly, a lot of the food there was seafood. So there you go. Anyway, I want to thank American Hillbilly also for sharing his stream here with me today, so that I could join all of you out there. And you can also catch me on most Saturdays on his live stream, which is the Guns, Beer, and Therapy live stream, which starts at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. Pacific time. And of course, you can always catch me here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, and 5 p.m. Of course, Central time. So again, I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, and I hope to see you next week. All right. Hey, I'd like to know what you thought of this video. Leave me a comment or chat with me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, MeWe, Instagram, or Locals. And if you want to see all of my videos, go to moondogindustries.com.